So hello everyone, I'm Zatvika. So in my previous video, we have seen the part 1 of Nutrition in Plants of Class 7 NCERT Science. So we'll quickly start off with our part 2. So before starting part 2, I'll just recapitulate what all we have learned in part 1. So the very first thing we have learned is what is meant by nutrition and the two categories which are divided into mode of nutrition, and then we have learned the 5 raw materials required for the process of photosynthesis, and we have defined the process of photosynthesis now, and then we have learned where the food is made in plants, and then we have learned that how the transportation of water and minerals in the plants going on, and then we have learned about stomata, and then we have learned about the presence of chlorophyll in the leaves, and then we have learned that the photosynthesis process is done only in the daytime in the presence of sunlight, and then we have learned why sun is called the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms, and we have known what are cells and the parts of a cell, and we have seen a picture of an animal cell and a plant cell. Yes, and then we have learned that can photosynthesis take place in other parts of the plant, and we have known and we have told the yes for this answer, right? And then we have learned why is the process of photosynthesis important, and then we have learned the production of oxygen and carbohydrates by the plants, and then we have learned the algae which is containing chlorophyll, and the most common question, and we have seen the answer for this, which was can leaves which are other color apart from green color of the leaves can conduct photosynthesis, and we have told yes for this answer. Yes, and we have seen a picture where algae is containing in water, so the green color pigment, right? The algae which is in stagnant water. Yes, and then we have seen how do plants generate proteins and fats, and we have seen the nutrition in plants that do not contain chlorophyll. Yes, and then we have seen first one, which was parasitic plants. We have known what are parasitic plants, and we have known and we have seen the picture of Cuscuta plant, and we have known about insectivorous plants, and we have seen its picture, and then we have learned about saprotrophs, and then we have learned how do saprophytes obtain their nutrition. Yes, so till here we have learned it. Yeah, and we have seen the picture where fungi is growing on the bread, right? So if you see here, fungi is growing on the bread. So till here we have learned in part 1. So we'll start off with our part 2. So the very first thing is we're going to learn about the fourth type of plant, which is symbiotic relationship. So sometimes the organisms live together to share shelter and food with each other. So these are said to be symbiotic relationship. So now examples for this is fungi. So fungi live in the roots of the trees. So these fungi take food from the trees and in return help the trees in absorbing water and nutrients from the soil. Right? So here if you observe the symbiotic relationship means these organisms are living together to share the shelter and food with each other. And sometimes an organism that contains chlorophyll, such as algae, lives in association with a fungus. Okay. So together, which is called as lichens. So the algae provide food and nutrition to the fungus, while the fungus provides water, minerals and shelter to the algae. Okay. So lichens are formed when fungus and algae come to. So when fungus and algae come together, lichens are formed. So the simple thing was there here. Fungus plus algae is equal to lichen. So now let us learn the replenishing the soil with nutrients. So plants get their nutrients from the soil. Mainly there is a need to replenish the soil again with nutrients so that the plants can survive on it. Yes. So this fertilizers and manures are used to replenish the soil with the nutrients. So they contain potassium, phosphorus and nitrogen, all of which are important for the plants. A bacterium which is called rhizobium is present in the soil, which can convert nitrogen present in it in the form that can be consumed by the plants. So the rhizobium generally lives in the roots of the plants such as peas, beans, grams and legumes, and provides nitrogen to these plants. So this again is an example of symbiotic relationship. Yes. So the farmers often do not need to use fertilizers while growing such crops. Okay. So this is the rhizobium bacteria in soil. Okay. And thank you for watching this video. Hope it will be helpful. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope it helps. And for more videos, please subscribe my channel, like and comment and let me know your valuable suggestions. So once again, thank you.